Good morning and welcome to Feed Me here on Calon FM. Hi there, how are you all today? Dave's left the building. It's lovely to be back in here with him. It was very quiet without him last week and very strange and surreal to have the studio all to myself and not have to hoik him out of his chair so that I could get in here. So he's warmed the place up nicely. It is very warm in the studio as usual, at least 22 degrees in here. Slightly warmer than it is outside, but you know what? Spring is definitely sprung. Everywhere's looking really lush and green now, and the weather's definitely warming up for us. Easter's coming. Everything's just, everything's feeling really energetic now. Just a little something to tell you about, and I will be talking about this in more detail on the Diet, Health and Fitness Show with Tracy Jones. Tracy and I visited Gorton Monastery in Manchester at the weekend. We went to the Mind, Body, Spirit show there, and we experienced a new treatment to us called Ki treatment, spelt QI, a South Korean energy treatment. So we're going to tell you more about that, but you have to stay tuned. You have to listen in to the Diet, Health and Fitness Show from midday. So what's happening on this show today? Well, today my guest is Chris Woolley and his friend Julie, and together they facilitate the Mould Meditation and Healing Group. And we're going to be finding out a whole lot more about meditation, mindfulness and spiritual healing. My guests are Chris Woolley and Julie Edwards from the Mould Meditation and Healing Group. So good morning to you both. How are you?
Good morning, Denise. Thank you for the invitation to come here today, and it's lovely to see you.
Great. Chris, let's come to you first. Just give us a little introduction to who you are, what you do and where you do it.
Okay. Well, I started my spiritual journey maybe in my late 30s. I'm 57 now. I lived in the Midlands at the time, and there's a lot going on there from a spiritual point of view, and that's where I developed the healing and learned all that I've learned about the spiritual ways. When I lived in the Midlands, I now live in the northwest of England, actually in Mould, and I was actually quite disappointed at the lack of groups and things that were available for those on the spiritual path that were looking to meet with like-minded people. And so I thought, well, I'll start my own group.
And why not?
And that's what I did.
I must put you in touch with some people I know, actually, who are also on a similar path to you.
Right, thank you, Denise.
Getting together with people is always a good thing.
It is, it's wonderful. I mean, as the group has grown, we've started the meditation group and healing group since last October. And we've come through some mean times, shall we say, where just a few turned up, but I'm glad to say it's now picking up nicely, and we've got regular people, 9, 10 people that come every week now. We've got a wonderful energy there, wonderful people, and we have a great discussion, and we have a brilliant night.
Good. So I had a look at your website to see where you are and what you do. So you might as well, right from the start, just tell people where you're based and when they can actually come along to this group.
Yeah, we're based in Mould itself on Grosvenor Street. We've got a website as well, which I can give you either now or later.
Both, yeah. Keep telling people where you are and what you do.
Yeah, the website that we've got is earthandspirit.co.uk, and on there it'll give you the details of how to find us, what we do, the times of the meetings, etc. And everything you need to know about us is on there. But it's from the listeners today who may not have the web. We actually do a guided meditation. We invite those that are maybe inexperienced and also experienced in meditation and spiritual ways. That's hence why we do the guided meditation to help those that have difficulty. We have the meditation night in candlelight, which is wonderful to meditate in candlelight. And then we have a little break, and the latter half of the evening we do have a healing session. What we try to encourage, the aim of our group, one of the main aims of the group is to show people just what they're able to do. As a spiritual healer myself, some may say I've got a wonderful gift, which I think I have. But what I want to show people is that they also have these beautiful gifts, and through the group, we hope to show them that how to develop those gifts within themselves, should they choose to do so.
It's something that we've somehow forgotten, haven't we? It's within us all, and yet somehow we allow ourselves to have other people sort us out all the time.
Exactly, Denise. We a lot of people tend to take the route of the victim in life instead of taking charge of their life and realizing their own potential. I mean, we're much more than just a human being. We're a multidimensional being of light. Which
I think sometimes, though, that's difficult for people to grasp.
It can be.
I think it's
yes.
a concept that folks struggle with.
It can be, yes, but science is actually coming to the same conclusion these days. If you look at quantum physics, for example, quantum physics, the string theory, where they observe the subatomic particles. And scientists are now discovering that even solid matter at a subatomic level is actually just pure strings of energy.
Yeah.
And this
that's all we are, isn't it? Just energy.
Exactly. And this energy can be affected by thought and consciousness. There's a gentleman in Japan called Dr. Emoto Masaru. He's done some experiments with water crystals, and he's exposed the water to different words like love, hate, and all different emotional words, and also he's taken clear water from springs and polluted water, and when he looks at the crystals of these water crystals using the process that he uses, he finds that the water that's been treated with love and kindness and will produce a beautiful crystal, an outstanding crystal, and yet the polluted water and the ones that have been treated with words like hate and despise and stuff will produce like a deformed crystal which is ugly in ways. Again, quantum physics shows this connection, this conscious connection between all life and ourselves through what's called the observer effect. Again, they've looked at subatomic particles, and which are random in their nature. And when they've gone to measure these particles, the very act of going to measure the particles bring those particles in alignment, waiting to be measured. And that in itself shows a connection between those subatomic particles and the human consciousness. And this is what I'm trying to say, is we're so much more than this physical being, and the aim of our group is to try and show people
that they are. Okay, whilst that was playing and I was waxing lyrical about spending time with my daughter, it's also come to light that you've been on your own healing journey, haven't you? Because you experienced chronic fatigue. So tell us just a little bit about what that meant for you. What did it feel like for you? I know what it feels like. I've been there, and I know now the background and the reasons why I was in that place. But what was it like for you?
Yes, Denise. Yes, it's that was the turning point in my whole life. Really, it was a great point of change for me. I had 4 years of ME, chronic fatigue syndrome. It's called. I was in a stressful job at the time. I was going through some personal stress in my life, and I thought I was doing okay, but my body said, "No, you're not." And crash, I came tumbling down with ME. I had it for 4 years. There were some days I got up, sat in the chair, watched the sun rise, and then watch the sun set, and then go to bed again. Not even enough energy to cook. Couldn't go out for a walk because you wouldn't know if you could get back again. I know lots of people out there with ME can associate with these words that I'm saying. Even just to hold the phone up, your arm aches.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to say this, but it does. It really does. It's so fatiguing. Chronic fatigue it's an incredible illness, which at long last I think is becoming recognised as being reality. Because when I had it, the doctors in those times saw it very much as, you just maybe a bit lazy or something,
or a mental health issue.
Or a mental health issue, yeah. But gladly these days they're seeing it more as a valid complaint. So I say, I had it for 4 years. I lost my job through it. I was an engineer at that time. I worked for the National Grid Company in the control room of theirs in Birmingham. I had a very well-paid job, but very stressful. And I lost all of that. I lost my home. But, you know, it started me on this new journey of healthcare. Because during that time, I lost my father as well, and I helped care for him in the last year of his life. And it made me realise that this was a calling for me to help people in this way. And I started some voluntary work at the local hospital in Birmingham. And when I lost my engineering job because of the ME, and as I was coming out of the ME, which I used herbs to help me, in fact, and some self-healing, Reiki healing, helped me to come out of that process of the ME. And I started getting stronger again, and I came into the healthcare profession. And that was around about 2004, 10 years ago now. And since then I've continued with that line of career. And it's led me through several hospitals. I've worked in hospices. And what a great honour to be there at the final moments of somebody's life. What a true honour that is. And here I am now helping people in Wrexham Mile Hospital on the stroke ward there at the moment.
I've worked with stroke patients in the past, and listeners will know that I was a nurse. I'm not anymore. And it takes quite, I think it takes quite a special person to work with stroke victims, because they, depending on which side of the brain's affected, depends on what they experience, doesn't it? And it can be so debilitating.
Yes, yes, you're right, Denise. What people seem to forget about stroke, what the stroke victims are acutely aware of, is the fact that it's not just a physical thing, it's very much a psychological thing, because their whole life has changed overnight. And I think some people forget this, that this adjustment that people have to make from being fully able to being not able to do things, it's an incredible change for people.
It is, and it's instant, isn't it? You know,
yes, it is.
There's no gradual
overnight.
Decline and get better again. It's wham.
I know
it's massive.
I think it's a terrible thing, a stroke is, and I think that if people could really see how it changes lives, that maybe they could take more action in prevention rather than and try and prevent it happening in the first instance.
We don't come from a culture of preventive health, though, do we? It's sadly we just don't, unless it's been double-blind placebo trials. We don't want to believe that it's true.
Well, I'll tell you now, Denise. Although I'm very spiritual, I actually smoked for 30 years. And I know the smokers out there will agree with me when you say to yourself, "Oh, it'll never happen to me." And you know, it does, unfortunately. You know,
Yes.
gladly I've packed in now for about 6 years, but I feel so much better for it as well. Yeah.
Just a little thing about when I had chronic fatigue. A couple of things you just said that just reminded me, took me back actually to things that I could and couldn't do. One was the phone.
Yes.
That was very, very draining to be on the phone with someone. And people that, girlfriends I used to be on the phone with for about an hour or so, I had to say to them, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because a lot of those people went out of my life, because I just couldn't do that, and that's what they wanted from me, and I couldn't do it. And it was interesting how once they weren't there, how my energy did start to shift. I had no concept at the time of what an energy drain they were being on my time, my effort, my energy.
Yes, exactly. Did you find that it was a catalyst for changes for you as well?
Oh,
Denise?
Big change, And another little thing that came into my mind is I have quite a long garden. And I used to wonder if I got to the bottom if I'd be able to get back again.
Yeah.
So there's a shed at the end of the garden. I had a chair put in there, which is now part of my daughter's art exhibition, actually, coming up at the end of June. And I used to get down there and I used to sit in the chair in the shed and fall asleep.
Yeah.
And then I'd wake up and think, am I going to be able to, because it was uphill back up to the house, would I actually be able to get back up to the house?
I know.
I always did.
Yeah.
But it was that horrible, scary moment of jiggliness inside me, and it was like, my God, I don't know if I've got the energy for this.
I know. It's people can't understand How draining ME can be, yeah. It's
what it
incredible.
opened up for me was this whole world of understanding of what energy is or isn't. My body was on overdrive, and I found out later what my problem was, and but it was all internal. It just didn't. There wasn't enough external energy for me to do what we would consider normal activities during the day. And for about 4 years I was like that, and slowly I came out of it. But what I had to do was take responsibility for myself and not wait for someone else to help me do anything to me, for me, and work out how I was meant to live in this world.
Well, unfortunately, that's the only option you've got, Denise, because the medical profession can't help you, except with antidepressants, which aren't a help anyway.
No, no, I didn't go down that route at all.
But going on the energy side of things, Denise, what you've just touched on there, yes, I don't know if the listeners are aware of the energy system around a person. Like, I'm sure most people are aware that they have an aura around them. But maybe not everybody's heard of things called chakras, which are the energy centres. There are 7 of them that go down the body. You can't see them, but if you're as sensitive like myself, I'm actually clairsentient, so I can sense energy as part of my energy work. And so I can, part of my healing work, I'm able to sense the chakras along a person. Now, the person that has ME or MS, their chakras will be running very slowly and almost closed, in fact, because the life force that they're drawing upon. To give you an idea, to give the listeners an idea of what chakras are about, it's just very simply that around every living thing and what sustains every living thing, all life, is a universal life force, a sea of this energy, if you like. Which the physical body needs for its vitality and health, as well as the food that we eat and the exercise that we do. And I can actually, I've actually shown people demonstrations in the group where I've shown them I've asked them to do a particular exercise. I've then removed the energy from their arm. The energy that surrounds their arm, and they find that they can't do the same thing. Right.
That's fascinating.
Physically, they're unable to do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, we replace the energy back.
Yeah. And we're going to come to Julie now and say hello to you. How are you?
Hello, Denise. I'm fine, thank you.
Now, you were just saying that you're a Reiki practitioner.
Yes, that's correct.
Just for the listeners, just explain what Reiki does to us and how it helps us. What's it all about?
Well, it helps in a lot of ways, on the physical, the mental and the emotional. And it's a gentle, universal energy that we actually channel through to the patient, and it enhances the well-being of the patient as well. And we get really good feedback from the people that have come into the group. Which is really good, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, we do.
The feedback's absolutely phenomenal.
Do you just do this Reiki in this group, or do you work as an independent practitioner?
You can do it on both levels, but the group actually is a good way of reaching so many people.
Yeah.
We've been surprised just how the interest that's come from it. Yeah.
So what happens within the group when you're using the Reiki energy? What are you actually doing that creates that energy?
Well, actually, we are just we transfer the energy from the universe into the person that we are treating. We don't really do the healing. The healing comes through us to the people, and like Chris said, anybody can actually heal if they really want to learn. And the meditation group, we do teach people to use this energy that everyone has. Yeah, and they can also benefit from self-healing as well.
So if someone was to be standing on the outside of the group watching what was going on, what would they see happening?
Well, it's a gentle hands-on healing. So
clothes are left on, aren't
clothes
they?
Are totally
Anyone
left
who's
on.
worried about this?
Yes, you can sit in a chair and just to feel the gentle energy that's transferred through. And anybody out there that really wants to, you know, appreciate this lovely gentle healing, please come along.
I have to say I have experienced it, and I've done my Reiki 1, and it always fascinates me how my hands get warm when, you know, just applying this, and I've always done it hands off. I don't do it hands on, so I'm always a little bit away from the body, and it's like, where does it come from?
It's all in the intention. If you intend on healing anybody, yourself, any individuals, it's the intention that actually does the healing.
Is there anybody it's not appropriate for?
Reiki healing is appropriate for anybody.
And animals as well,
animals,
the planet, everything.
Anything that is alive, Reiki energy will work on.
Yes. Is there any, because there are skeptics out there, science sort of research behind Reiki? Has anybody done anything around it?
Yes, they have actually done some research, Denise. What they've... there's one aspect they found that science has looked at the brainwave patterns of people that channel this healing energy, and they find that when they go into the healing mode, as it were, that they're picking up on the scope an unusual waveform which is not present generally in the brain, and surprisingly enough, they found that once the healer placed their hands upon the shoulders of the person receiving healing, that the waveform pattern of the person receiving healing changed to that unusual waveform also.
Oh, wow.
So there is some anecdotal evidence of scientific evidence anyway of something's going on, and of course you've got the results of the healing anyway that speak for itself, you know, where we've had, like you say, Julie, we've had a couple, haven't we, that have benefited already just by sitting in the meditation, because they're sitting in the healing energy, because we've got like 4 healers there now. They're automatically receiving healing as soon as they walk in the room, you see, because they're immersed in this healing energy.
It is fascinating, and I think it's one of those things that I think I was there at one point where it's that sort of sensation of I went in not wanting to believe that it would work, that this can't be true, it can't be as simple as this. I've been a nurse for 30 years, and you know, if a doctor didn't tell you what to do, it wasn't going to work. But it's so not the case, is it? I've had a complete epiphany, you know, over the years. There's complete change around from the medical model into a much more natural, naturopathic, alternative, as we like to refer to it, phase in my life, really. And I would suggest that anybody who hasn't experienced this and is concerned about it, worried about it, scared about it, sceptical about it, find a group like this and just go along and meet really gentle people who just want you to be the best you can be. Would you agree?
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's right, isn't it, Jules? Yeah, but you know, we're showing people. I do spiritual healing myself, which is hands off, by the way, which is better for me to work with the ladies in that respect, obviously. But because I'm sensitive to energy, and like I say, I can sense the chakras and things, I've actually had a few people that come along to the group, and I've got them to sense auras and chakras, and they're going, wow, I've never realised this is around a person. And they're actually feeling it for themselves now. I'm not saying that I'm training them to be healers, but I'm giving them an insight into healing, and whether it's something that they may choose to pursue themselves. Yeah, it's all good. Chris, I think it's time to give some details of how folks can contact you. Where are you? What do you do? You know, phone, Facebook, Twitter. Do you do any of that? No, unfortunately, I'm not really into Facebook or Twitter or any of those things. A bit old-fashioned in my ways, I'm afraid. Just a web address is what we have. Give us your web address then. Is the all the W's, of course, earthandspirit.co.uk. And a telephone number of 07983269037. Should I say that again? Yeah. 07983269037. We meet at 7 o'clock every Friday night, except the third Friday of each month, when unfortunately we can't have the hall for that night. And we start at, we close the doors about 7:10. So if you're running a bit late, please do still come along. And that's in the Grosvenor Hall, Grosvenor Street in Mould. The postcode for any of you using SatNav is CH71EJ.
If I could just say that I do Facebook and Twitter and all of that.
Yeah.
So you are on Facebook this morning.
Oh, thank you. Oh, right.
So I've already put you on there. So if anybody wants to actually find these details, find your website, if they go to Feed Me on Calon FM Facebook page, then you'll find a link through to Chris's website. And if you actually look on the website, very easy to find the whereabouts of the Grosvenor Hall, and there's pictures of it, and from all angles, the inside, the outside, the car park, it's all there.
And we're meeting tomorrow night,
and
of
you're
course.
meeting tomorrow night.
Yes.
And there's a whole schedule of meetings is on there as well. So if you're thinking, well, I can't make tomorrow night, then if you go to the website, you'll find all the details and the dates that you're not meeting, which is the third Friday in every month.
Yes.
So all that's there, dead easy to find. So yeah, do go and have a look. And Chris's story is on there, and some beautiful pictures are on there as well.
Thank you.
Glorious.
Thank you.
I love those. They're
I love
very
them
nice.
myself. Yeah. Thank you very much, Denise.
Did you say you did them yourself?
No, I love them myself.
Oh, you love them.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, you're a good artist.
No.
You didn't mention that.
I wish I could. Yeah.
So in this final section, we haven't got long left towards the end of the show. Just meditation. There's a lot more research now around meditation and mindfulness.
Yeah.
What is it doing for us when we actually meditate?
Well, what meditation is about, very simply put, if you're looking out of a window, for example, and you're daydreaming, and then you suddenly realise you're daydreaming about a minute later, that in its simplest form is meditation. It's
or if you're driving the car, as in my case, along the 483 to come here in the morning.
Daydreaming in the car, yeah, meditating in the car.
Yeah. But not a good idea, is it really?
It's actually an altered state of mind, but it's a natural altered state of mind, as daydreaming is. And so what we're doing is, with meditation, is we're training the mind to find that peaceful place within. It's to quieten the busy mind down, to take away the stress from the stressful day, even just for a short time whilst you're having the meditation. And actually, Denise, regular meditators actually produce more of the youth-related hormone called DHEA than non-meditators. So apparently it keeps you young as well.
Apparently it does,
as well as relieving stress.
Yeah.
And
it sort of eases its way into all your wrinkles, and it just softens all your features.
Yeah. So there's many benefits of meditation. I don't know. Do you want to go through this list?
If you want to, yeah.
This list is on the website anyway.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
So you can read all about it on the website, because I realise we're running short of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great for dealing with stress and any stress-related illnesses as well. Yeah, and it's basically about. It may take a few weeks, but you finally find that point where you can just go into meditation state very easily, and a lot of people just don't want to come out of it. They just love being there, and that.
It's quite a blissful state.
It is very blissful.
Yeah.
Yes,
I came across it years ago, many years ago. Bless you. Julie's having a sneeze over in the corner there. Through reading the work of Deepak Chopra.
Oh, yes.
So he was like my inspiration.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm trying to think now. It must have been around about 2000, probably before 2000. So before Deepak was as famous as he is now.
Yeah.
And reading about this guy, and I think it resonated with me because he's a doctor as well.
Yeah.
So he's combining and balancing the Western medicine with the Eastern practices. And to me, that is just the way we all need to go. You know, it's not either or, it's a combination of things.
It is heading that way, Denise.
Yeah.
We are now seeing hospitals with healing rooms in them, complementary therapy rooms, which is fantastic. Yeah.
Oh, it is, definitely. And then there's also Bangor University doing a lot of research into meditation and mindfulness. And I just think, let's have more of it.
Yeah.
And then there's the yoga practices that have it as well.
Yeah.
And like you say, we're all doing it on a regular basis. We just don't realise we are.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes I wonder if people stop themselves from going into meditation because they might not always like what comes up for them, because it can be a challenge, because there may be change that's needed. Do you find that at all?
Yes, it can happen. It's more so with the healing, raising buried issues to the surface and helping, because that's part of the healing process, is to, because throughout life we tend to bury things that are hurtful to us deep within, and we put them in this little locker deep inside with a securely locked where never to go again. But healing can actually help to release and heal some of these issues, and meditation can as well, and in a gentle way.
Oh, it's very gentle.
In a gentle way, yes.
Very.
Yeah.
And meditation doesn't have to be for hours on end, does it? It can be 5 minutes, just to, I think, gain a bit of peace and poise in your life is how I often see it.
It's, to find such peace in this busy life, in this busy world of ours now, is a jewel in the crown. It really is, because it's something that we all should be doing, and yet most of us don't.
So how often do you two meditate? How often are you doing it?
When I remember to.
So you need to meditate on remembering.
I think sometimes life gets in the way and you're tired.
Well, at least once a week, isn't it, Julie?
I try every night, but
you?
Sometimes I'm human and things get in the way. But that's the beauty of having the group, that if you don't discipline yourself and do it rigorously, then you have got the group there for support, and the guided meditations are always lovely that Chris does.
Thank you.
So so there's two things. There's your own meditation, isn't there, and there's guided meditation.
Yes.
So just briefly, what happens in a guided meditation?
Well, in a guided meditation, I talk you through it, basically. I take you from the start to the end, and I take you on this little journey of visualization. We take you to this place where, this imaginary place, this beautiful place, and using descriptive words, and it's a bit like painting a picture with words, and the picture appears in your mind, and you see yourself walking along that journey, and walking back, and then finding yourself back in the chair and thinking, I don't want to come back from this, but that's a guided meditation. The non-guided is where I take you into it, and I leave you there with your own thoughts, with your spiritual guides, if you like, and the angels around you that may want to pass things on to you. And then we bring you back again.
I also think that I think it needs to be clarified that each person's meditation journey can be very different, and I know when I started I didn't quite trust what was coming to me, and I didn't want to share what was going through me either. And then sometimes I'd sit there and think, well, mine's not as good as hers, so I'm not saying anything, if I went to a group. But actually, it doesn't matter. It's not a competition, is it? And I think that was something else I learned coming out of my chronic fatigue journey. Life isn't a competition. It's not, to me, it's not anyway. It's about doing the best you can and sharing with everybody as much as you can possibly do that. So that's, I think that's what I would say. It's let's be less competitive, unless it's part of say being an athlete or something like that, because that's what you're gearing up for. But in life, it's about being helpful, is it? Yeah, it is.
It's because we're all one family, aren't we, at the end of the day, Denise? Brothers and sisters in light, and that's what we are. And I think we forget about this in this world of war and unrest.
Absolutely.
And let's find a little bit of peace and harmony.
That would be marvellous.
And work together as one family.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you so much. So if you want to contact Chris, you can go to Feed Me on Calon FM, the Facebook page that I have, and his details are there. You can go direct to www.earthandspirit.co.uk. You can call him on 07983 269 037. And from tomorrow afternoon, you can actually listen again to today's show. So that will be up for a whole week. People can listen in if they've not been able to find you today. So all they have to do is go to www.calonfm.com, to the tab at the top that says Listen Again. Click on that, find Feed Me, click on that, and your show will come up from tomorrow afternoon. How's that?
That's
for a whole
wonderful.
week.
Thank you, Denise.
That's fantastic.
So do let everybody know that they can listen in again.
We will do, Denise, won't we, Jules?
Fantastic. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
And as I say, I will put you in touch with people I know who are doing similar to you. So let's